Hey, it's Loren Petisce from the Fun Morning Show.
And Kasey Sylvia from WBSM.
And Billy Lord. He's a local artist from Rhode Island, and he is going to tell us his story.
It's an unlikely story. I think it's an interesting story. I'm probably the most unlikely success story in country music right now. Just the fact that I'm considered country is odd enough, but my story is that I was actually a corporate guy for 15 years, a suit and tie guy every single day, short hair, clean shaven, had a family and a home, and my life looked just like most people. And in 2009, I was in New York City. I was a director of consumer sales and marketing at a large media group, and doing really, really well and thriving. And the economy collapsed in the Great Recession, and I lost my job. And for a year, I tried to replace the income, and I couldn't. And the money just started hemorrhaging, and I really ended up losing absolutely everything. I lost my home. I lost my car. I started working part-time jobs in the city just to keep things afloat, and it ended up at a point where I had lost my marriage and I was living by myself, but I could no longer afford the apartment for myself, so I sublet it to someone else. And,
my goodness.
Yeah, so I was.
That's a lot of stuff.
So I was waiting tables. I went from managing a $12 million budget to to unloading trucks at a dock at night. So I had nowhere to go when I get out of work at 3 a.m. and those hours between 3 a.m. and 7 in the morning were really difficult. They were long hours, and just to pass the time, I decided to start playing the guitar. And I had an acoustic guitar that was really my last material possession that I had at that point.
Wow.
And I had been carrying it with me for probably the whole 15 years, and I never learned to play it. It would just seem like the time. So I get out of work at 3 in the morning and I started teaching myself how to play, and almost immediately I was hearing songs, so I started writing, like literally right away. And when I'd hear things, I'd just try to figure them out, and I did. And then I ended up playing in the park, and someone saw me play, and one thing led to another, and I did a fundraising campaign through Kickstarter. And
Gotta love Kickstarter.
Yeah, and I recorded my first album, and it made it onto radio in New York City on Z100.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Now that's impressive.
It was,
Yeah.
it was like 2 days after I recorded the demo, so it was kind of one of those things where it's like
a whirlwind.
Your life was,
Complete 180.
Yeah, your life was going like down this very straight path, and then everything was gone, and then so quickly, like 2 days after I recorded the demo for a song called On a Summer Night, which is my first single, it was playing on the radio, and I was a featured artist on Z100 for the month of June in that month, and I just thought, well, this must be what I'm supposed to be doing.
Did you ever think of that beforehand, though?
I never ever thought about it, and people always ask me, did you know you could play? Did you know you could write? Did you know you could sing? And I said, I'm still not convinced of any of this. But I'm learning.